So hi there, welcome back. This is our third video in our series about asset management for PJL. Just want to recap on the last video that we did, video number 2. We looked at where to start with our assets. Remember, we drew it on the board and we're talking about assets on, assets off. We talked about defect and failure true cost, also frequency, severity and duration. Looking at that as a whole picture and bringing that into your strategic asset management plan for your assets to manage them across their life to bring you the greatest bang for buck, if you like. So keep that one in the back of your mind. This video is actually about who. Who do you get to do this kind of analysis for you? Now, on a typical mine site, there's personnel that do that. It's usually people that have been in the trade for a long time, and there's with particular skill sets, which we won't go into right now. But when you think about those people, you think about, there's a couple of things I'd like to highlight, is there's authenticity and credibility. Are these people authentic? Are they the real deal? Do they have the decades of experience required to pull this off to a high level? To actually look at that strategically and understand the best outcomes for the machine in terms of money. We're talking about, are these people credible? It's kind of sad to see on some mine sites, you'll get someone promoted into a position who is not credible. They have no credibility. Therefore, their authenticity suffers. They try to implement plans, but no one can take them seriously because they haven't got the background. I've seen that's been a common recurring theme for me in the last 30 years that I've been involved in this game. It's actually a little bit sad to see. So the next thing is, are they experienced? And this one will always affect these two. If you're not experienced, you're not going to have a lot of credibility and you won't come off as authentic. And the other one is, are you qualified? Are you qualified to do that? If you're not, you need to step away from the table and let the experts do the job. Because you try and pull off a strategic asset management plan and you don't know what you're doing, you will actually cost the company money. I know I'm a bit brutal when it comes to this subject, but that's real life. That's how the world works. Always, I want to challenge my managers here. My managers, think about this in relation to your assets. They are your assets. You're the mine manager. That asset either makes you look good or makes you look bad. And it's the same here. Get authentic, credible, experienced and qualified people to do this on your behalf. You can't do it. You're a mine manager. You're looking after the mine and how it runs. So think about this in relation to your assets. So usually when you think about a strategic plan for your assets, you should have dedicated persons on site that do that, or a dedicated outsider, and that's where we come in. We can come in and do that for you and take away some of that pain. Typically when people try to do asset planning on a mine site, they'll actually try and fit it in between their other duties. Typically, that's not really a recipe for success because their other duties eventually will start to overtake what they're doing. And so they have these ad hoc plans that seem to change quite frequently and it really never gets anywhere and never gets off the ground. So once again, engage with professionals, real maintenance professionals. They are out there. That's what we specialise in, and we can bring that to the table for you and take away some of your pain. The other things to think about are, when it comes to this, you can actually start to think about it as collective intelligence. At PJL, we have a lot of different players. There's me and quite a few others in our organisation that can pull that intelligence, that collective intelligence, bring it to the table and work with you, the client, and give you the best outcome for your assets. So what it's about is the ability to turn ideas into real actionable outcomes. On a mine site, when it comes to asset management, there's always those ideas that are out there. And actually, I'll talk to you about that a bit more. We've all been there. We've all sat in those rooms, been to the production meetings where it's production and maintenance. And everyone has an idea and everyone has a plan. But how many people actually turn that into an actionable, real outcome that's followed through so that in 12 months' time, a year's time, or even 5 years' time, you can sit back and go, fellas, you know, we did it. We actually turned it around. That's actually really hard to do. So that's why you probably need to engage outside experts to actually fix that for you. I talk a lot about this because it was a constant recurring theme after 30 years, no matter where I worked, whether I was on a mine site, whether in a production facility, or whether I was working at God knows where. There was always the idea that the actionable outcome, that tangible thing that means money at the end of the day, that's the key to success, and it's putting those ones into place. So I'll leave you with that thought. Okay, so we're getting back to who. Who do you get to do this? So we actually started to relate who to meaningful solutions and the ability to turn ideas into actionable, real, meaningful outcomes. So that's what PJL specialises in. We engage with clients, we look at their asset base, we see where they are in their life cycle, and we manage that strategically for the best strategic outcome, which is actually in dollar terms. When you're trying to deliver a solution on a mine site, typically you're up against a few things. You're up against culture traps. There's usually a few fear narratives about trying to step out and look different, and also workplace politics. These are the things that are actually really quite hard. It's in that environment that you're trying to not only get a plan off the ground and actually get it going, but actually finish it off. And usually day-to-day stuff starts to crowd it out. That's why it's a good idea to engage with an independent third party that's not caught in that narrative, and they can actually finish it off for you. So that's just something to think about. In the next video, video number 4, we'll be looking at what you want to do, what you're trying to achieve, and what is your end game, because it's the end game, which at the end of the day is about money. It's working back from there. And we'll cover that, and we'll talk about that at some length in the next video.